Hi, Pat the Podcast Editor here. What would you do if you had all the time in the world? Today, Dan and Lloyd are talking about time management and the things you can do to ensure you get the most out of your time, especially if you feel like you don't have enough of it.
I think so many business owners, including ourselves, do this thing, I haven't got enough time. And you are in control of what you have time for and what you don't.
Now, everyone knows it's easy to end up with too much on your plate taking up your valuable time. But if you look hard enough, there's bound to be someone that can take the weight off for you. They might even do a better job than you.
Oh, that thing that every single week you spend 12 hours on. If you want, I'm better at that than you. We all have strengths and weaknesses. That would take me 2 hours. So if I take that and you take this thing that takes me 3 hours and you do it in 1 hour because you're better at that. And then it was kind of like, oh, yeah, that would be great.
But it's not just about staying on top of your workload. Sometimes it's as simple as streamlining your communication to minimize time spent talking about the emails you never received.
If you're having any conversations like this in your business right now, then Slack will really help your business. Here's the conversation. Did you do that thing that Trevor asked for from client A? Oh, no, I didn't know about that. Oh, did you not get copied into the email? No, I don't think so. I didn't see that. Oh, it needs to be done by 12 today. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, we're all stressed. Huh? Oh, no one knows anything.
So what can you do starting right now to get the most out of your time? Stay tuned to find out. Right, I think it's time we got on with the show. This is episode 59 of the Business Anchors podcast.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. This jingle is slightly too long.
Why is time management so important, Lloyd?
Well, if you're looking at the big picture, time's the only thing that we can't get more of, isn't it? So surely that makes it really important. But I think in the context of business, if you can spend more time doing valuable stuff and less time doing stuff that isn't of value, it makes a crazily big difference in how you can grow your business or how profitable your business is. If you can cut down how long something takes by half, you've got double the time of the guy next door that's working the same way you were. Therefore, you can put double the amount of value into your business, make double the amount of money,
Double everything.
Say
double more.
Double trouble.
I think...
double.
Shut up. The reason I wanted to do this episode is because we've seen the value of getting better at managing our time. From having no process at all and just like... And we'll talk about this in the podcast, but yeah, not really having any process to now having a very structured, organised process. We've really seen the value of that. And also, whenever I'm speaking to business owners, the number one, or people in general in the business world, the number one problem they say they have is...
Oh, I don't have enough time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And my response is, you do.
Yeah. It's weird because I still say I don't have enough time.
Yeah,
but I guess you always don't have enough time if you're trying to do more. But I completely agree. And we take the mick out of that. I won't say his name in case he sues us. 10x everything.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That whole, you can do 10 times more. But I honestly think there are a lot of people. So I look back at 2016, Lloyd, and I'm confident that I get 5 times as much valuable stuff done in a day than I did then. So like,
interesting.
I've 5x'd everything. But I honestly do think that because I look back at everything we do within the business, and I know my role's changed and we have a team and things, but I honestly do think it's at least 5 times as much, which is ridiculous thinking I was working full time and I'm saying now I do that in 2 hours. But you think pricing up work, I used to spend 10 times more time on it.
Yeah.
I think writing proposals, you used to take 10 times as much time on it.
A month.
Communication with clients, I would say used to take at least twice as long before we moved to Slack from email. Preparing for an initial kickoff call with a client used to take me 5 times as long. Preparing for this podcast, I would say used to take at least 3 times as long as it does now.
We've actually really streamlined the process.
That's in a year and a half. And I think it's crazy. So if you make things, even if we say for this podcast, we take a third of the time, That is a crazy amount. So we get the same done, but save something like 2 hours.
I think it's better now
a
as
week.
well.
Yeah.
But I want to take you back to the dark ages.
Take me back.
I want to take you back to when we started the business. You were wearing a suit and you didn't have a clue what you were doing, and so was I. Mm-hmm. I used to take 3 weeks to write a proposal.
Yeah.
So what were we doing then in terms of managing our time? And then I want to take us on a journey from what we were doing then to what we were doing now. So what did we used to do to manage our time? Do you remember?
If I'm honest, I don't remember a huge amount.
We wrote a to-do list.
If we were doing anything. Yeah,
Did we write a to-do list?
I'm not sure. I remember having a lot of paper on my desk, which people say I still do. I've got better now, I've got a notebook. But I used to just have endless to-do lists written on paper. And I guess it would just be day-to-day coming in and
there's another bit of paper there,
trying to get through those and then writing a longer list when things come in. And there wasn't a process of managing the time. It was just I used to write loads of, and I think you were the same.
Yeah.
Write loads of things down. You've got to do all those things, and you'd come in, try and get through as many of those things.
Yeah.
You'd add a load more things, and that would be a constant thing day to day.
What if you lost the bits of paper, Lloyd, which you definitely have done before?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember getting to the point sometimes where I'd have so many bits of paper and I think, I don't really know what I'd done and I haven't. So I kind of thought, start again, put those in the bin, see what comes up next.
Great way of managing your time, Lloyd.
Yeah, so I would say, I guess time management was much more passive rather than active or proactive kind of just things came up that I needed to do and wrote them down and then we did them. Whereas now it's a lot more proactive.
So you say now it's a lot more proactive. Do you remember was there anything like the realization that was like, there's a better way to do things? Or do you remember a point where we had those endless bits of paper and then you thought, I'll try something different?
I don't actually remember a point, and maybe you do, you can tell me in a minute. But for me...
I don't.
Okay. For me, it's just been a gradual process actually of all the elements of our business. So at one point, realizing that rather than write a 20-page proposal with all the detail in, basically giving them all the work we would do anyway, and taking all this time and then emailing it off and never hearing a response, then we kind of realized we learnt from someone called John who said, you should never send a proposal or action plan off like that. You should meet them in person. And we started writing much shorter proposals.
Shorter action plans, we called them.
Action plans. And even, the time we went and met these people, but even driving to meet people and going through it was still much less time than writing this really long thing and never getting a response.
And now we're pitching and it's way more effective. We did an episode of that 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. So we improved that. And then there was, every time something came in, excuse me, just yawned and burped at the same time. You're welcome, listeners. Pricing work things used to come in, and at one point it was just, so how much do you reckon we should? And it'd be like 2,500. Yes, it seems a bit much though. 1,800. Yeah, but maybe 1,900.
Like, what's your logic? You have no logic to that.
And it just went on a lot longer trying to work out, is that all right?
This is what sounds
a
all
lot
right.
of discussions that, just waffling. Do you think that's good? Don't know. Whereas...
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for some of our conversations early on in business, because we really didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah. And then now I have a spreadsheet that we put in the time and things that we're going to have to, and costs that we're going to have for the business, put it in, and then a number pops out, and basically, that's what we charge. We know the client will get good value from this, and we make the profit we need to as a business to
way more streamlined,
continue to grow. So for me, there wasn't a moment of, we should do this stuff
the
better.
Gradual
but it was
process
learning
of
these
improving.
different things. The only big thing that I remember being having a significant impact time management wise as realization was with our calendar, how we started scheduling blocks of time for tasks and client work and different things. And basically every day of our working lives is sort of color coded and in blocks of time where we're planning all right, that client's paid this much. He's paid for 2 half days with him. And then we've got 3 days of preparation. We're scheduling those exact hours that client's paid for to make sure they get done and make sure they take the right amount of time. That was a big moment, I think.
I remember you moaning at me because I would basically come into work really early, leave late, and constantly moan to you and say, Lloyd, I've got no time, or there's just too much to do. And this is the classic case of should have listened to Lloyd sooner. And this is a thing. This has happened multiple times.
Yeah, it's quite consistent over the years.
Lloyd said, right, why don't you, so we know what you're doing, why don't you log what you're spending your time on in your calendar so we can actually, for a month or for a week, so we can look and think, oh, Dan's spending 7 hours doing this thing that isn't adding anything to the business that you shouldn't do.
You kept working long hours.
And Saturdays.
And classic Lloyd, I kept not working long hours.
Yeah, and getting just as much done.
Yeah, and it was that thing of like, let me help you work the hours I do.
I didn't want you to though, Lloyd.
And I kept saying, it was over a period of months, saying to Dan, if you log what you're spending your time on, then I can help you. We can work together
Yeah.
to
I was
work
like,
out.
yeah, sure, shut up.
Yeah, and eventually when you did, and it was like, oh, that thing that every single week you spend 12 hours on. If you want, I'm better at that than you.
And it would take me
we
half
all
an
have
hour.
strengths and weaknesses. That would take me 2 hours. So if I take that and you take this thing that takes me 3 hours and you do it in 1 hour because you're better at that. And then it was kind of like, oh, yeah, that would be great. Like, yeah, that's why we need to understand what and it's the same in our business now. We block out time so we know what we try and do our best to know exactly what people are working on, how long things take. Then we can look at projects and say, oh, we priced that out at this and we should have made this much profit. Actually, we know why we made a bit less profit because Taylor had to spend 5 extra days on that because it took much longer than planned. And we know that because it's in his calendar.
And we'll feed that into next time we price up something. We know that takes longer. And
Shout out to Taylor.
So moving more onto kind of practical advice on, where we're at now, what advice would you share with someone who's always saying, I haven't got enough time. Oh, I don't know what to do with my time.
Yeah. So
what advice would you share?
Very specific things. So we've just said about blocking time out every day, but more broad monthly planning. So we usually do this about between the 20th and 25th of each month, looking at the next month, looking at work you've got booked in, or even maybe work that you might have booked in, and you'll probably have to do, things that you have to do on your own business that are aligned with your goals. So if you're one of those people that's like, oh, I've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to start a podcast for 3 years and I never have the time.
You're never going to do it.
If on the 22nd of August, you put a day, 3 whole days in, 15th, 16th and 17th of September, they're already blocked in there, so nothing's getting booked over it, you will do it.
What gets scheduled gets done.
Yeah. So that's exactly the approach we have. If there are things we really want to do, then you're actively managing your time. If you don't schedule something to be done, it's because you've made the decision that you're not doing it. It's not that just, oh, we've run out of time. And sometimes that does mean that we don't work on our own business as much because we've actively made the decision we're going to take on those 3 extra client projects.
But we've actively made that decision.
Exactly. That's the big difference. So the monthly planning to see what time you've got, schedule it in, make sure things get done that you want to get done is a big thing.
Being proactive. I think we're not just letting things happen to us. Oh, there's a thing that's come up. Oh, we'll just have to figure that out. It's like months in advance we're planning and being proactive.
I think that it sounds weird, but not just letting things happen to us. I think so many business owners, including ourselves, do this thing, oh, I haven't got enough time. And you are in control of what you have time for and what you don't.
That's a really good point.
If you want more time doing something else, and like even our team here, like if you're an employee and you want more time for something, as long as you work with an employer that's not a complete idiot, if you say, I would love more time to work on this particular project, I think it needs more time than currently I've got scheduled in because I want to do a good job, or I would love to have half a day to learn this thing, I think it'd be really good.
And you have logic for why you're doing that, not just like, half an hour to go to the pub.
Even as an employee rather than a business owner, that's a really proactive way of managing your time and doing better stuff, and you are in control of that. Not if you just let other things, if you let everyone else control your time, and it's hard because if you're not confident, lots of people might be asking you to do things and with your time,
and you just give in. Oh yeah, I'll do that.
And you may at the moment just be saying yes to everything, and therefore you don't feel like you are in control. But
I think that's what we try and do with our team as well, is instill confidence to say, oh, look, my calendar is this full. You're asking me to do this extra stuff. I actually haven't got time for that. Especially like from my experience with my side of the business, speaking to some of the editors and things, when it's like, we need to get this edited, rather than them not having confidence and saying, oh, okay, and just working longer hours. It's like, right, we've only got this amount of time to do that. Why don't we move that to there? It's having that confidence to...
It makes sense for everyone. And I know some businesses, the reason they make money is because they really get absolutely everything out of their staff they can. So like, he's probably going to have to stay till 10 every night.
Gutted.
But if he does it, it's good for our business. So I know this doesn't count for those kind of businesses, but it makes sense for everyone if you don't want to be that sort of business, because you know how long things take. Therefore, you have the knowledge to make good decisions in your business. And if people are also confident to say, oh, we actually thought this would take 4 days and it takes 5, that's far better than that just being like a secret. Going, oh God, I'm not going to finish that, but I can't really say anything. Yeah.
I think another one is that I found is processes, which sounds really boring. And you love a good process. And I think, again, we've got a long way to go, but we've come a long way. Having, again, thinking of not my side of the business that I'm responsible for, sales and marketing, having a structured process of, right, a lead's come in. Now we've got a structured sales process to take them on that journey. Once we've converted a client and they've signed an agreement, we want to go ahead, then there's a process of handover to you. And then there's a process of setting up the invoices and that kind of thing. And it's taken us time and mistakes and things not going well to really have a more structured process that it kind of works like a well-oiled machine now. And it still needs to be improved. But
I think this is something, so one of my points was investing time in training and processes. And this is something I think with our business, the things that me and you are involved in from the early days of the business, we've done really well. Now where we've grown significantly over the last year or so, I think we need to do far more with our team and the processes and training to make sure that all of that stuff is a well-oiled machine as well. Because I think everyone here is working really hard and working really well. But if there were processes in place and if we spent a bit more time training people, everyone could be more efficient. So we definitely need to do that. But I think this is such an important thing of especially I think for business owners or people managing other people, if you never have enough time, I think there's so many things, and I still do it now, and it's like a constant battle. There's something that might take you an hour, and you do it every week. You've been guilty of this in the past as well.
I've been very guilty of this.
Yeah. And you get to it each week, and you have a little niggle in your head that thinks, I should probably talk through this with Pat, because Pat could take this on. But it'll take me an hour and a half because I'll have to have half an hour to talk him through it first and train him. Yeah. So it would take half an hour long this time. So it takes longer this time.
May as well not do it, mate.
Yeah, may as well not do it. But it saves you an hour every single week of your life moving forward, and someone that will be more efficient and better at it will be doing it. But I think it's this weird thing. Everyone tries to keep hold of the stuff and think, oh no, it'll take me longer to go through it. But long term, you need to get rid of the task that you're not best at. And I think I'm very open to this now. If you think that you are best at everything you're currently doing day to day, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. If you think you can do it all your tasks the quickest or the best, it's just not right. And I think even if you don't have a team of people like we do, there's things that I'm thinking, Ida actually will be better at doing this than me. I need to speak to her. Pat will be better at this. Barney will be better at this. Even if you work on your own, if say you've got the earning potential of £25 an hour, which would be great, if you're in whatever field you're in, and you're doing tasks that are taking you a whole day a week, that that you could hire someone for and pay them £10 an hour. Yeah. Then you need to take that step, and it takes effort to train whoever that is. Get someone in one day a week, or they're working remotely. But
we still need to get better at this, though. I still
100%,
think there's a huge way we need to go with this, because there's still definitely things that we're doing that and things that you're doing. A lot, your time at the moment, I think, could be better spent.
Yeah. And to be completely transparent, I'm currently in that cycle, and I have been for probably the last month, where I haven't got enough time. So then I think, I won't train that person to do that. And I'm currently doing this.
You're the problem in this business, Lloyd.
Yeah. This is how I know that this is such an important thing. Previously, I've been in a good state where I've been delegating tasks to the most effective people and making sure I spend the time.
And now you're not.
And then when you have less time, then you even more think, well, I haven't got time to talk through this with this person, so I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
And it is, and I'm in it right now, and I'm working to get myself out of it. But I completely, if you're thinking you're in that mindset, I get it, because I'm literally doing it now. But I also have been in a state where
there is light at the end of the tunnel,
where I don't do that, and there will be next month when I manage to get through this.
So what other tips have you got? Have you got any other time management tips?
Something, this is quite specific, but I don't know if anyone will be aware of capacity planning. It's interesting.
You love your capacity
planner. This is
planner.
something that's relevant if you're working on your own or you have a business of 200 people. It's basically just something to help you manage your time, to make sure that you or your team have got enough time to actually do the work that you're saying you're doing. And it
sounds so simple, but it's been so helpful to us.
If anyone has these stresses of, we got these deadlines with clients, we got these things we need to do, and you're kind of thinking, hopefully we get all this stuff done. I very rarely have any thoughts of hopefully we get this stuff done, because prior to it, we've worked out that, we definitely have enough time. And sometimes we think, God, we're at 95% capacity, so there's not much leeway here. So it's going to be close. But it's a process that we do it monthly. Beginning of the month, for each person, you have a column of the amount of working days that they have in your business, and you allocate days that for client work and different projects. It can be very broad, so maybe it's just they work on three different clients or 3 different projects, and it's color coded with days between them, and then they have 2 days in that month admin. And then you can look at how many little coloured squares that are coloured in and go, Tony's only got half of his things, so he's got loads of capacity to take on extra work. Then that gives you the confidence to go, if we win another project that Tony can deliver, he can do that this month.
Yeah, let's focus on winning that project.
But yeah, again, it helps you make really good business decisions and takes the stress away. You know exactly if you have or haven't got time to take on certain things.
And I think this, again, came from a problem we had where I think we were getting stressed because we'd won a lot of work, but we were then thinking, we're going to be able to deliver this in time. And then we were like, we need a way of managing this. And then the capacity planner came into play.
If anyone wants a copy of the capacity planning spreadsheet that I have, send us a message and I'll be happy to send it off to you, and you can see an example of how it works, and that would be a good tool for your business.
Nice. Slack. I think Slack has been amazing for us. So we basically, a while ago, we wanted to figure out a tool we can use to manage communication and projects and things. We started with Monday.
Monday.com.
Yeah. And it was all right, but then we realised none of us used it really, because it was very granular detail of actions that needed to happen. And
by the way, I think that works for a lot of people. And I think we probably could have used it better in better ways. Yeah. But how we were using it didn't work at the time.
Yeah. So we moved on to Slack.
Sorry, just to clarify, I think Monday.com is supposed to be a project management software. Slack's more communication. But actually, we were trying to use Monday like we should have been using Slack just to communicate better about things we were working on.
And we now really efficiently can create channels within Slack on certain projects where everyone can, rather than sending emails to various people, everyone can see the conversations and Cindy, have you done this thing? Yeah, Pat's done it, here it is. And you can see the conversation going on, and it kind of boxes projects and discussions into certain channels. If
you're having any conversations like this in your business right now, then Slack will really help your business. Here's the conversation. Did you do that thing that Trevor asked for from client A? Oh, no, I don't know about that. Oh, did you not get copied into the email? No, I don't think so. I didn't see that. Oh, it needs to be done by 12 today. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, we're all stressed. Huh? Oh, no one knows anything. Okay. If that used to happen when we used emails more, it's like, oh, I thought you were copied into that email, so I thought you were doing that thing, blah, blah, blah. You just have the exact people that need to be in the conversations.
In a Slack channel.
You know that everyone, as long as you manage people effectively, and you said you need to make sure you're reading all your Slack messages that you get that in your relevant groups and stuff, you know that everyone sees what they need to see, communication's much quicker, and also where Slack is like email 2.0, and very much, I think, the generation of people that use WhatsApp and messaging platforms, it takes out mostly, in my experience, it takes out the time you take to go, hello, Trevor, how are you? Hope you had a good weekend. I was off in New Forest with some family. And then go, by the way, have you sent me that thing you said you would 2 weeks ago, you dickhead? Kind regards. So it's much more like WhatsApp, where it's quick messages back and forth, and it's not seen
Everyone knows they're there to communicate about the specific thing.
Exactly. It's not seen as rude. You're not writing a love letter. You're, oh, Trevor, have you got that report that was due? And then...
I really want to meet Trevor now.
Yeah. So I agree. Slack is very good for reducing time you're spending on communication.
One more thing from me. Get better at meetings, and you've had a big push with this with us. I think a lot of time meetings, things come up and you talk about other things and it's sort of back and forth, and then another segue comes along and it's like, let's talk about that for 20 minutes. And I'm very much guilty of this. You know, something comes up, I get excited, we talk about it for ages. You've been very strict on, right, we're making this meeting here, this amount of time. We don't want to segue off into other things. We're just talking about this stuff. Let's focus on that. And cutting meetings in half, basically, because...
Yeah, I think when you actually get people together and get their full attention, there's often in business a lot of things people want to talk about. And once you get around a table or on a Zoom chat, it can be quite easy to talk about loads of different things, which is usually a very inefficient use of time, because if
not everyone needs to.
And sometimes I apologise to the guys here at Knowlton sometimes, because someone can be talking about something really great and that will be really useful, but because it's not appropriate for that meeting and there's 3 people around the table, it's not a good use of their time to listen to that.
Yeah,
I have to, I'm now getting better at saying,
shut up.
Sorry to say this, but stop talking about that now. We'll talk about that, just me and you, or the 3 of us it's relevant for, because otherwise you end up having 8 people around the table and at all times 6 people are thinking, don't give a shit about this, doesn't mean anything to me, doesn't help me. And it's even the case in our morning meetings sometimes, and we always point out things we need to improve. People must think our business is shit, because I'm always like, we need to get better at this.
No, it's good though.
But sometimes we go off on tangents with talking about clients, and if it's longer than like a couple of minutes and not everyone's working on it, really we should be saying, let's talk about this after with the people that are relevant. But you're right. I think in my previous business I worked for, we used to have half-day meetings scheduled, and I come out of it thinking,
what have we achieved
I've got
from that?
3 bullet points of notes. That
could have been an email.
I could have just spoken to one of the guys in that meeting and him go, "There's these 3 things that need doing, Lloyd."
Yeah.
Go, all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
say 4 hours.
That was So I can really see a difference in how we manage things. But again, like everything here, we need to improve it, and we'll get better.
Do you have any more tips on your...
No, not specific tips. I don't think. I found it interesting talking about time management. Yesterday I saw, I think, an Instagram story from Andrew and Pete from Atomic, who are friends of ours and who we work with. And Pete was saying, "Oh, just off for lunch. We finish at 1
1 p.m. I saw that.
And I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's pretty cool. So I think
every day they finish at 1 p.m.
Yeah, and I think it is really nice to see. I think sometimes online there's these things of people going, if you do this and this, you can work 30 minutes a month and make 10 grand.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's bullshit. Other than, a unicorn company of something you've found. Whereas it's nice to see Andrew and Pete have been working really hard on their business. I imagine for years. Sorry, I get this wrong, but like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. But So the realistic thing of you can work on your business for years and then you actually could work much less time if you manage your time effectively. I think that's good to see a realistic version of that thing of work half an hour a week. Yeah, interesting.
Nice. One more point from me. Go for walks. We found we always go for walks here, don't we? And
it's weird because a lot of people I think would think you could be in the mindset, and I think a lot of people are, that going for walks, well, that's not good for time management. You're taking loads of time being unproductive. But I think it is interesting and kind of counterintuitive that we found taking time away from your screens and that sort of thing actually does save you time, probably. I reckon, rather than just being staring, when you stare at your screen and go, oh, haven't done much in the last couple of hours. Like, just go for a 20-minute walk and then come back and be...
Do you fancy a walk?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Cool. Let's go for a walk then.
Okay. See you outside.
Bye.
Listeners.